I never thought a simple invitation from my best friend Jenny would change my life forever. She insisted I attend her uncle's birthday party, saying it would be a great chance to meet influential people. I sighed, rolling my eyes. Parties were never my thing, but I went anyway for Jenny. The house was breathtaking, marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and laughter echoing through every corner. Guests mingled effortlessly, exchanging polite smiles and expensive drinks. And then I saw him. Owen Jackson. Powerful, shrewd, the kind of man whose presence alone demanded attention. He was laughing at a joke, but his eyes scanned the room like he was calculating the value of everyone present. And then they landed on me. Jenny nudged me. Go talk to him. I laughed nervously. I don't even know what to say. Just say hi. I approached him cautiously, offering a small smile. Hi, I'm Shirley, Jenny's friend. He extended his hand, firm but smooth. Owen, pleasure to meet you. Conversation flowed effortlessly. Owen wasn't just charming. He had this way of making you feel like he was genuinely interested, like you were the most important person in the room. We spoke about books, work, and even life's small absurdities. By the end of the night, I couldn't stop thinking about him. And when he smiled at me before leaving, something inside me shifted. Little did I know, this chance encounter would set the stage for heartbreak, joy, and the kind of revenge that only comes after being underestimated. Because while I thought I was just meeting someone new, I had no idea that my life, my career, my heart, and even my future child would soon be entwined with Owen Jackson. I loved my job, or at least I used to. My boss, Avery West, was the kind of man who seemed charming at first but quickly revealed a cruel, manipulative side. Nothing I did was ever good enough. He made me buy gifts, lunches, and favors for his numerous lady friends, and when I politely refused his personal advances, the victimization escalated. Shirley, he said one morning, you know, I think you'd be perfect for dinner tonight, just the two of us. I froze. I don't think that's appropriate. He smirked. Suit yourself, but don't forget, a little extra effort doesn't hurt your career. That was the problem. No matter how much I tried, Avery always found a way to make me feel small, inadequate, or guilty. Each day was a careful dance. I couldn't slip, couldn't refuse, couldn't be myself. I confided in Jenny over lunch. I can't do this anymore, I admitted. He's impossible. She reached across the table. You'll be fine. Just remember, someone like him thrives on control. Don't give him the satisfaction. But even Jenny couldn't prepare me for the disaster that would follow when Avery discovered something I couldn't control. A pregnancy. He didn't just dislike me. He would go to lengths I never imagined to ruin me when I became inconvenient. 2 weeks after the birthday party, fate intervened. I was having dinner with colleagues at a quiet restaurant when I noticed a familiar presence across the room. Owen. He smiled when our eyes met, walking over like he'd been waiting for this moment. Fancy seeing you here, he said, his tone teasing yet warm. We talked for hours, completely oblivious to the passing time. The connection we shared that night at the party felt alive again, stronger, deeper. And by the end of the evening, he asked me out properly. I hesitated only briefly before saying yes. Something about him felt different from everyone I had ever met. Calm, intelligent, protective. And then, life threw me a curveball. 2 months later, I discovered I was pregnant, something my doctor had told me was nearly impossible. I stared at the positive test, unable to breathe. 2 months pregnant. A miracle, yes, but terrifying. I was still young, still building my career, and Avery's unpredictable cruelty loomed over every aspect of my life. I confided in Jenny first. I don't know how this is possible, I said, shaking. She hugged me tightly. It's a blessing, Shirley, and Owen, he'll be amazing. Soon after, Owen learned the news. Jenny had told him without my permission, and before I knew it, he was at my doorstep, suitcase in hand. No child of mine will be born without my protection, he said firmly. Relief, joy, and fear battled inside me. I was carrying Owen's child, yet Avery still controlled my work life. And Avery, He would soon find out, a discovery that would set the stage for betrayal, cruelty, and the ultimate revenge. The day Avery discovered my pregnancy is a day I will never forget. I received the sack letter, cold and impersonal, citing professional incompatibility. "Shirley," it read, "we cannot continue employment due to personal circumstances that conflict with company policies." I knew the truth. He had fired me out of spite. I had refused his advances. I had become inconvenient. I wanted to scream, to argue, to plead, but I didn't. I folded the letter carefully, tucked it away, and promised myself something Avery couldn't imagine. I would come back stronger. Owen found out immediately. He was furious, not at me, but at Avery. Within hours, he whisked me away, assuring me that my future and our child's future were safe. Little did Avery know, this firing was the first step in his own downfall, and I would make sure he never saw it coming. Moving into Owen's house felt like walking into another world. Everything was too polished, too quiet, too controlled. I should have felt safe, but instead, I felt like I was sinking. The night after Avery fired me, I locked myself in the guest room. My whole body trembled. Losing my job wasn't just about money, it was about identity, dignity, everything I had worked for. Now it was gone because of one man's ego. I curled on the bed, trying to breathe evenly, but tears kept spilling. How did everything change so fast? From a stable job to being unemployed, pregnant, and dependent on a man I wasn't even sure I fully understood. A soft knock interrupted my spiraling thoughts. "Shirley," Owen's voice was calm, steady. "May I come in?" I wiped my face quickly. "Yeah." He entered slowly, wearing that composed expression he always had, but his eyes softened when they met mine. "You've been crying." "I'm fine," I lied. He sat beside me. "You don't have to be strong all the time." I just broke. "It's not fair," I whispered. "I worked so hard, and Avery he just took everything away." Owen's jaw tightened, the only sign of the storm beneath his control. "He took your job, that's all he took. He didn't take your future." I looked up at him. "Feels like he did." "He won't win," Owen said simply, "and you're not alone anymore." It was the first time, since the firing, that I breathed without my chest hurting. But beneath my relief, a cold realization formed. Avery had crossed a line he would regret. The next few days blurred into a strange new routine. Owen insisted I rest, but staying idle made my mind restless. His staff treated me with a respect I wasn't used to. Someone always asked if I needed water, food, pillows, anything. It felt unreal. Every morning, Owen checked on me before leaving for work. "Text me if you need anything," he would say, and I knew he meant it. He also scheduled appointments with a private obstetrician. The first visit was overwhelming, better equipment, gentler staff, no rushed questions. When the doctor turned the screen toward me and pointed at the tiny flicker, "That's the heartbeat," everything stopped. My throat tightened, my baby a heartbeat. Owen squeezed my hand gently. "You okay?" he whispered. I nodded, unable to speak. I wasn't just carrying a child. I was carrying a miracle the world told me I could never have. That night, while lying in bed, it hit me. Avery fired me on the week. I heard my child's heartbeat for the first time. And something inside me hardened. I wasn't the only one whose emotions were shifting. Owen had always been composed, but after the firing he became watchful, calculated. Every time Avery West's name came up, a coldness seeped into his eyes. One evening, he came home earlier than usual. He loosened his tie and sat across from me at the dining table. "We need to discuss what Avery did," he said. I stiffened. "Owen, I don't want to cause trouble." "You didn't cause anything," he cut in, his voice sharp but controlled. "He abused his power, and he thinks he got away with it." I looked down at my hands. "I don't want drama." "What he did to you was illegal," Owen stated, "and immoral. There will be consequences." For the first time, I saw it. Owen wasn't just protective, he was strategic. relentless, dangerous in a quiet way. "Avery hurt you," he said softly, "and people who hurt you don't get to walk away untouched." A shiver ran down my spine. Not fear. Recognition. This was the beginning. A week later, Jenny came over with groceries and gossip, as usual. "I stopped by your old office," she said casually. I nearly choked on my juice. "Jenny." "What? I needed to pick up something from a friend there." She leaned closer. "And guess what? Avery is already stressed. Someone came in asking questions about his treatment of female employees." My brow furrowed. "Who?" "No idea, but he looked rattled." My heart thumped. I glanced toward the window, where Owen's car wasn't parked yet. Had he done something? When Owen returned that night, I confronted him gently. "Did you send someone to the office?" He didn't deny it. He simply gave a small, measured smile. "Avery built his entire career on silencing people. It's time someone asked the questions he avoids." A slow wave of satisfaction twirled in my chest. Not revenge, not yet. But the first crack in Avery's armor. I felt it. A few days later, Owen walked into the living room holding a folder. His expression was unreadable. "What's that?" I asked. He set it on the table. "Proof." I hesitated before opening it, and my stomach dropped. There were emails, screenshots, and complaint records from employees Avery had harassed, underpaid, manipulated, or threatened. Some left. Some stayed silent. Others tried to fight but were crushed. My throat tightened. How did you get all this?" "I have ways," Owen replied calmly, "and this is only the beginning." I closed the folder and leaned back, overwhelmed. I had always known Avery was cruel, but seeing it laid out, documented, undeniable. I felt something sharp ignite inside me. Something I had never felt before. Something that looked a lot like power. "He ruined you," Owen said quietly, "but now we ruin him." And for the first time since losing my job, I smiled. I wasn't ready for visitors, but life didn't ask for permission. One quiet morning, the doorbell rang. A housekeeper informed me someone was here to see me. I frowned. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I stepped into the foyer, my jaw tightened. It was Melissa, a former colleague from Avery's office. She gave me a sad smile. "I heard what happened to you, and I thought you should know you weren't the only one he targeted." We sat in the living room, and she told me everything. How Avery cornered her after hours. How he manipulated her schedule. How HR always lost her complaints. "But when you got fired," she continued, "I realized he won't stop unless someone forces him to." Her eyes met mine, hopeful. "Please tell me you're fighting back." I didn't answer immediately, but I didn't need to. Something in me had already shifted. When she left, I held my stomach protectively. For the first time since my firing, I didn't feel powerless. That evening, Owen walked in with the same calm authority he always carried, but I sensed a shift in him too. "You had a visitor," he said, hanging his coat. "Yes, Melissa." I paused, then added, "She told me everything." Owen sat beside me. "Good, you needed to hear it." I blinked. "You knew." He didn't deny it. Avery's pattern is predictable. Men like him don't change, they escalate. There was a silence, thick, heavy. "Shirley," he said softly, "I need you to understand something. What he did, firing you while pregnant, that's not just immoral. It's illegal, and that gives us leverage." I looked up, startled. "Leverage?" Owen leaned forward. "We don't want compensation. We want something bigger." My breath caught. "What?" His lips curled into the faintest smirk. "His company." My heartbeat stumbled. "Owen, that's impossible." "No," he replied firmly. "It's inevitable." For the first time, he wasn't comforting me. He was preparing me. The next day, I woke up earlier than usual, a strange energy buzzing inside me. I wandered into Owen's study and found newspaper clippings, screenshots, and articles pulled up on his screen. all related to corporate misconduct, HR scandals, retaliation cases, pregnancy discrimination. A quiet fear crept in. "Owen, what are you planning?" He joined me at the desk. "Nothing public yet, but I'm gathering what we need." I crossed my arms. "To expose Avery?" "Not exactly," he said, "to make him implode." His calmness unsettled me. He wasn't planning revenge out of rage, but strategy, precision, patience. "People like Avery destroy themselves when the right pressure is applied," he added. I swallowed, "And that pressure is me." "And every woman he's hurt," Owen said. "You're not just his victim, you're his downfall." My pulse quickened. For so long I'd been surviving Avery. Now I would be dismantling him. Jenny barged into the house 2 days later, breathless and wide-eyed. "Oh my God, Shirley, you won't believe what I heard." She didn't even sit down. "Avery is losing his mind," she said dramatically. "He's been yelling all week. HR is scrambling. And," she lowered her voice, "he called an emergency meeting because someone is asking really uncomfortable questions about past complaints." My stomach flipped. "Owen," I whispered. She shrugged. "All I know is Avery looks like he hasn't slept in days." A warmth spread through me, not happiness, not revenge, something in between, like witnessing karma take its first step. Jenny held my hand. "He messed with the wrong woman, Shirley." For the first time, I believed it. That night, Owen joined me on the balcony, the city lights glowing below. He handed me a warm cup of tea. "I spoke to a lawyer today," he said casually. My grip stiffened. "For what?" "For options." I inhaled sharply. "Owen, I don't want a lawsuit." He smiled faintly. "I know, we're not suing him." Confusion swept over me. "Then what are we doing?" "We're taking everything he built," he said calmly. "Piece by piece, quietly, legally, irreversibly." The wind brushed against my face. My heart thudded. "Owen," I whispered, "are you really doing this for me?" He turned toward me, expression firm. "No, I'm doing it for us. And for our child. Avery thought firing you would break you. Instead, he started something he can't stop." In that moment, without any formal declaration, without needing grand gestures, we formed the silent agreement. Avery West would fall, and I would rise from the wreckage he caused. 2 weeks passed quietly, almost too quietly. My pregnancy symptoms grew stronger: morning sickness, dizzy spells, exhaustion. Yet beneath it all, a strange determination kept me moving. One afternoon, Owen returned home with a single sheet of paper. "This," he said, handing it to me, "is how we start." I read it slowly. A formal request for Avery's company financials, issued anonymously. My eyebrows shot up. "He'll never release them." "He has to," Owen replied. "Public companies follow rules, and if there's even one irregularity, one missing record." He paused, watching my face. "Everything crumbles." A chill ran through me. This wasn't petty revenge anymore. This was dismantling a man's entire empire. I folded the paper carefully. "And what do I do?" Owen met my eyes. "Nothing, just be ready." A few days later, I received a message from a number I didn't recognize. "Can we meet? I think I can help you." Lucas. My chest tightened. Lucas. Avery's former assistant. Jenny insisted on coming with me, just in case, so we met Lucas at a small coffee shop. He looked nervous, constantly glancing over his shoulder. "I heard what Avery did to you," he said quietly, "and I'm sorry." "I don't need sympathy," I said firmly. "I need the truth." He exhaled heavily. "Avery has been hiding things, not just harassment complaints, but money, transactions that don't add up. If someone investigates the financial side, he's finished." I leaned forward. "Do you have proof?" Lucas nodded. "Enough to bury him." Jenny squeezed my hand under the table. I swallowed hard. This wasn't just revenge anymore. This was justice, and it was finally taking shape. For the first time since being fired, I woke up without feeling helpless. But Avery wasn't sleeping well. Jenny kept feeding me updates. He's snapping at everyone. He canceled 3 meetings. He looks pale. He keeps asking if anyone has spoken to you. Good. Meanwhile, Owen's world remained calm and controlled. He moved with purpose, staying 3 steps ahead without ever revealing all his cards. One evening, he sat beside me while I organized baby clothes Jenny had bought. "Shirley," he said softly, "you need to prepare yourself." "For what?" I asked. "For the moment Avery tries to contact you." My breath hitched. Why would he do that? "Because when cornered men feel exposed," Owen said, "they always try to negotiate with the person they wronged." A slow shiver crept down my spine. Avery would soon realize the walls were closing in. It happened on a Wednesday afternoon. I was resting when my phone buzzed. The name on the screen made my blood turn cold. Avery West. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My hands trembled as I stared at his name flashing on the screen. Jenny's voice replayed in my head. "He's scared." Owen's warning echoed too. "He'll reach out when cornered." I didn't pick up. Instead, I watched it ring until it stopped. Seconds later, a text appeared. "Shirley, we need to talk." No apology. No explanation. Just panic disguised as control. I put the phone down and exhaled a long, steady breath. The man who once fired me without blinking was now reaching out, desperate, exposed, unraveling. And I wasn't even done yet. That night, Owen came home earlier than usual. I handed him my phone silently. He read the text, then chuckled an amused, satisfied sound. "He's feeling the pressure." "What do I tell him?" I asked. "Nothing," Owen said simply. "You owe him nothing." I felt a strange power rising in me. For the first time, Avery wanted something from me. Owen placed a hand on my belly, his expression shifting to something protective and fierce. "You don't engage. You don't negotiate. When he crumbles, he must not be able to say you interfered." "So I stay silent." He nodded. "Silence will terrify him more than anything you could say." I inhaled deeply, letting the moment settle. Because this was the turning point. Avery had crossed a red line months ago. Now, without saying a word, I was crossing mine. Avery's silence didn't last long. Jenny called me early in the morning. "Shirley, something happening at the company." My heart thudded. "What?" "The board received the request for financial transparency. They want answers. Avery is sweating through meetings. He keeps snapping at the finance team." Good. Finally, he was feeling what I felt: pressure, humiliation, fear. Jenny's voice dropped lower. "People are whispering. Some think the anonymous request came from a shareholder. Others think it's internal sabotage." "And Avery?" I asked. "He thinks it's you." I exhaled slowly. He wasn't wrong. But he had no proof. And that was what made him panic. Lucas reached out again. "I found something else," he whispered over the phone. "Something big." We met in the back of the same coffee shop. He slid a small flash drive across the table. "These files show unauthorized transfers. Money moved to a private account Avery set up under a fake name. If regulators see this, he's finished." Jenny stared at him, stunned. "Why are you helping us this much?" Lucas's face tightened. "Because I know what he did to Shirley, and I know he could do worse to someone else." I closed my hand over the flash drive. This wasn't just evidence. It was the nail in Avery's professional coffin. "Thank you," I whispered. He nodded once. "Just promise me you'll use it wisely." I didn't answer, because I already knew exactly how it would be used. By now, I expected Avery to attempt contact again, and he did. 5 missed calls. 7 texts. 2 emails disguised as urgent. But the 10th message broke his facade. "Whoever is behind this is making a mistake. I can still fix this if you talk to me." Vix, the same man who threw me away like trash, now wanted my cooperation. I ignored him. Later, Jenny sent me a voice note, her tone disgusted. He's losing it. He yelled at 3 interns today. He kicked a trash can. He even threw his phone at the wall. That's his true personality, I muttered. Jenny agreed. Exactly, you never broke him, you only revealed him. That line stayed with me. Revenge didn't change who a person was. It simply exposed who they had always been. That evening, Owen gathered a stack of documents on the dining table. Sit, he said gently. We need to prepare for the next phase. My heartbeat quickened. What phase? The legal one. I froze. Owen slid a draft complaint toward me, professional, precise, devastating. Sexual harassment. Wrongful termination. Retaliation. Emotional distress. He had built a case, so airtight Avery wouldn't even see daylight through it. Owen, this is necessary, he finished. Not just for you, for the baby, for your future. He wasn't angry. He wasn't vengeful. He was protective. I'm with you, he said, placing his hand over mine. Every step. For the first time since everything began, I felt safe. Not because revenge was close, but because I wasn't alone in it. The next morning, Avery made his boldest move yet. He came to my apartment. I saw him through the peephole, sweating, packing, looking nothing like the polished CEO he used to be. He knocked again, softly this time, like a man begging the universe for mercy. Shirley, he said through the door, voice cracking. Please just talk to me. Every instinct in me reacted, fear, anger, old wounds. But I didn't open the door. Not now. Not ever. He continued, his voice trembling. I know someone is targeting me. I know I made mistakes, but I can make things right. Please. Owen stepped out of the elevator, that exact moment. Avery turned, and their eyes locked. Owen didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He simply said, You need to leave. Avery's lips parted, confused. I just want to talk to her. You lost that right the day you put her in danger, Owen said coldly. Avery swallowed hard, then walked away slowly, defeated, unsteady. I didn't open the door until Owen came inside. The moment he entered, I exhaled shakily. I didn't know he would come here. He won't again, Owen said. Not after today. And something inside me shifted. Avery had just crossed the last line. Now it was time for him to feel the consequences. Avery's visit didn't shake me. It irritated me. Jenny called again the next morning, voice low and fast. Shirley, the board is calling an emergency audit. Avery spent the entire day trying to stop them, but they overruled him. He looks like a walking corpse. Good, I said without hesitation. Jenny didn't even try to soften it. We were past that stage. Also, Lucas resigned today. That made me pause. Why? Probably because he doesn't want to drown with Avery. Smart man. Avery's kingdom was cracking. And like every arrogant man who believed he was untouchable, he had no backup plan. Owen came home with a quiet, calculating look, his business face, his war face. It's time, he said simply. For what? Filing the complaint. My breath caught. Are you sure if we do that? There's no going back, he finished. And that's exactly what we want. He placed the final document in front of me. Sign when you're ready, no pressure. I didn't hesitate. My signature hit the paper like a strike of lightning. Owen took the file gently, kissed my forehead and said, You just took your power back. For the first time since Avery fired me, I didn't feel like a victim. I felt like a weapon. Jenny texted me nonstop during the board audit. 10:03 a.m., there in the conference room. Avery looks sick. 10:27 a.m., they asked him about undocumented transfers. He's sweating. 11:45 a.m., Someone from compliance is furious. Voices are raised. 12:10 p.m., oh my God. They found the fake account. I smiled. The evidence from Lucas had landed exactly where it needed to. By 2 p.m., Jenny called me directly. Shirley, they suspended him. My heart stilled. Suspended. Not fired yet. But close. Jenny exhaled shakily. He stormed out of the building like a madman. People kept staring. Let him stare. Let him feel exposed. Let him feel powerless. Everything he once used against me was crumbling in his hands. It happened the next day. Owen and I were leaving a prenatal appointment when Avery appeared out of nowhere, eyes wild, hair messy, tie gone. Shirley, he shouted. I froze. Owen instantly stepped in front of me. Avery kept talking, frantic. You're doing this. It has to be you. They found accounts, files, transfers. Someone is feeding them information. Owen's voice dropped to ice. Lower your voice. Avery ignored him, his eyes locked on mine. Shirley, please, please. Tell them it's a misunderstanding. I can fix things. I can give you your job back. I can make things right. I stepped out from behind Owen. Avery, I said calmly, you didn't just ruin my job, you tried to ruin me. He blinked rapidly, chest heaving. I didn't know you'd take it personally. That sentence alone told me everything. I don't owe you forgiveness, I said, and I don't owe you silence. For the first time, Avery looked scared of me. Not Owen. Not the board. Me. Owen put an arm around me, protective but composed. This is your last warning, he told Avery. Stay away. Avery backed up slowly, his face collapsing. He had just realized he had lost control forever. The news dropped 3 days later. Jenny didn't call this time. She sent one message. Check your email, it's happening. My hands trembled as I opened the link. Avery West terminated, following financial misconduct investigation. Internal sources confirm pending legal actions. Multiple employees alleging workplace abuse. The article was brutal. Detailed. Public. Everything he hid was now on display. Avery's mugshot-like employee photo sat right under the headline. His career gone. His reputation ruined. His arrogance shattered. I exhaled slowly, a release I didn't know I'd been holding for months. Owen came up behind me, reading over my shoulder. It's over, he murmured. I shook my head. No, I corrected softly. It's only the beginning. Because bankruptcy, humiliation, and unemployment were consequences. But true revenge was still on its way. After the article dropped, Avery vanished for a few days. No calls, no messages, no Jenny updates. I thought he was hiding. I was wrong. On the 4th day, he resurfaced exactly the way desperate men do, loud, shameless, and delusional. Jenny sent me a voice note. Girl Avery showed up at the board meeting, uninvited. He demanded his job back. DEMANDED. Security had to escort him out. He was shouting that someone set him up. Set him up? No, Avery. You set yourself up. Still, I knew men like him didn't give up this easily. The fall had only made him more dangerous, more unpredictable. And when a narcissist hits the ground, they start clawing. That evening, I heard shouting outside the gates of Owen's estate. I didn't even have to look. Avery. Owen stepped out first, calm but ice cold. You're trespassing. Avery pointed at me like a madman. She ruined me. She cost me everything. He looked unhinged, hair wild, voice cracking, eyes bloodshot. I did nothing wrong, he screamed. I stepped forward slowly. Avery, the moment you fired me for being pregnant, you started your own downfall. I asked for loyalty, he barked. You asked for submission, I corrected, and you lost both. Security removed him, but he kept shouting as they dragged him off. "You'll regret this, Shirley. You'll regret it." I didn't flinch. I didn't even blink. Because regret was something he would feel alone for a very long time. The next morning, Owen placed a thick folder on my lap. "What's this?" I asked. "Avery's company," he said simply. My heart jumped. "What?" He sat beside me, voice steady and proud. "I bought out the majority shares, quietly, discreetly, weeks ago." I stared at him, stunned. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because you needed to rise on your own strength. Now, you're ready to see the final piece." My hands trembled as I opened the folder. He wasn't lying. Contracts, signatures, transfer rights. Avery's company was now under Owen's corporate group. And Owen wasn't done. "This," he said, pointing to the final document, "makes you the operations head of the division." My breath caught. I don't understand." "You're not just getting justice, Shirley," Owen said, brushing a thumb across my cheek. "You're getting what he tried to keep from you. My former office. My former role. My stolen future. Returned. Wrapped like a gift. A push gift." Avery found out the next day. Jenny called, breathless with disbelief. He went to the office, again, but this time. "Go on." "He saw your name on the door." Silence. Then, he collapsed. I blinked, collapsed. Yes, right there in front of everyone. He thought it was a prank. Then someone explained the acquisition. They said his face turned gray. I didn't smile. No. I grinned. Avery losing his career was one thing. Avery losing his company to the woman he once fired. That was poetic. But Jenny wasn't done. He tried to argue that he was the rightful CEO. HR told him he was trespassing and banned from the premises. The security guard even escorted him out in front of the entire staff. Good. Let him feel humiliation, the way he made me feel fear. Let him taste defeat the way he forced me into desperation. His downfall was no longer professional. It was personal. A week later, I walked into my former building, now mine, for the first time since Avery fired me. Employees stared with wide eyes. Some whispered. Some smiled. Some clapped. But all moved aside when I entered my office. The same office Avery used to summon me into just to belittle me. The same office where he tossed the sack letter onto my desk. But now the nameplate read, SHRLEYJXSON, Division Director. I placed my hand gently over the engraved letters. Victory didn't always come loudly. Sometimes it arrived quietly, in a room that once held your tears, now holding your triumph. As I sat in the chair, Owen texted, "How does it feel?" I replied with the truth. Like justice and revenge. Minutes later, an email popped up. Avery had officially filed for unemployment benefits. The man who once mocked me for needing my job now needed help. That was the final laugh. Not because he suffered, but because I survived and rose higher than he ever imagined.